My clients, my students always ask me, okay, so how do I become more secure? I'm going to talk about a little bit more about what are the qualities of secure, because what I'll tell my students and my clients is if you have a sense of what would a secure person do, then you can at least ask yourself that question, either as it happens, if you have the presence and you're not completely dysregulated, or after the fact. You can sort of like roll back in time and be like, what would a secure person do in that same situation? And it can be helpful in that sense because you know that as you make your way on the journey to secure, you make your way to the secure kingdom, so to speak, you're learning these qualities. You're better at these qualities over time because, and that's by studying people who are secure. We know what secure people do. And if you do things that are secure, if you express secure behavior, it has this sort of cumulative effect. The more you do secure things, the better and more secure you become. And you'll notice that as you become more aware of your insecure patterns, you'll sort of replace them with secure behavior. So for example, somebody who's anxious, when they feel anxious and they feel disconnected, they'll be able to communicate. They'll be able to say, I need closeness. Can I get close to you? But instead of it occurring as this sort of random blow up, it'll occur as a very clear request. Same thing for avoidance. If they need some time alone, if they need some space, they'll be able to say, hey, I'm feeling my nervous system is dysregulated. I know what I need. I need some space. I need to go for a walk. When I'm back, I'll probably be able to engage with you better and engage with your emotions better. So how about I go for a walk? I'll come back in 10 minutes. Disorganized people will be able to say, I'm feeling my inner animal is really scared right now. I feel that primal fear and I don't know how to get close to you that way because I'm sort of really skittish and really scared. So let me go and take care of myself, be in my own space where I feel like I'm in my nest, and maybe I'll ask you to come in later. That kind of communication and that kind of request about needs is secure behavior. And you get to learn that over time as you go from aware insecure to aware secure. And eventually it just kind of blends in and it melts into your being and you start to do it naturally. You don't even have to think about it. It's much harder said than done because at the beginning you'll be so dysregulated that you won't even be able to catch yourself. But as you learn to catch yourself, you'll be able to kind of just say like just 5 minutes or 2 minutes or even seconds before you dysregulate, you'll say, can't do this anymore. And at least your partner will know you're not about to blow up on them. You're just about to try to catch yourself, and whether or not you can is anybody's guess at that point. So let's go back to secure qualities. So at least you have a sense of what that looks like. What is this sort of mythical secure person? Do they even exist? What do they look like? So let's go into that. So a secure person, first of all, a secure person is naturally self-caring. Caring for self makes sense. We do have these moments in the day or in the week or at any moment where we run out of resources. So a secure person can see that emotional gas tank going, running on empty or going down slowly or steadily or even in surprising ways. And they're able to tell, like, I need to go get some gas or I need to get myself resourced. So self-care is the act of both noticing that the emotional resources are dwindling and the act of engaging with the emotional resources so that they get replenished. And that's called self-care. So a secure person is naturally self-caring. A secure person is naturally interdependent. They realize they can't do it all by themselves. They have to do it with others. So sometimes they have enough skills in order to take care of themselves, and that's okay. But sometimes it's actually really good to have somebody else help, because they don't have what it takes, or they don't have the skills, or they don't have the energy to take care of themselves. So it's good to have somebody else come and help. They also understand that people don't always have what it takes, and they're willing to help. And that kind of interdependence, when it's consensual, it's interdependent, that kind of interdependence and mutually meeting of needs is actually really helpful. It means that we don't have to do it all alone. And in that interdependence, there's a deeper intimacy that arises. Secure people are naturally sovereign, and they also naturally engage with mutuality. So what is sovereignty? I've already mentioned that at the beginning. Sovereignty is making better choices for self and others in connection and in trust. So they're able to be really responsible for themselves and being responsible for others and allowing others to be responsible for them. And how this looks, what kind of agreements arises between them and another person in order to make better choices for themselves and others in that kind of connection, that's called mutuality. How much are you willing to do for them and how much are they willing to do for you? How much attention, how much effort, how much time, and what is that going to look like when you're supporting each other? That's mutuality. Over time, you develop these agreements around what you want that to look like. It's not always symmetrical. Sometimes it looks more one way than the other. Hiring a practitioner is, I give you money and you support me. That's an engagement of mutuality. Another type of engagement is, let's go out so we can just talk about what's going on in our life. Let's have coffee. Or let's become lovers because we'll have an experience of sex or connecting with hearts. But there's always this conversation around what feels good to me and what feels good to you, and let's do this in a way that feels good to both of us. That's mutuality. A secure person is naturally emotionally balanced and resourced. So what is emotional balance? Well, if you look at what we've been talking about, which is dysregulation, you can look at it if you're a dancer and you fall on your face and you lose balance. Well, the same can be said around dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation is like being a dancer and falling on your face, but emotionally. People who are insecure are more likely to fall, either forward, which is more like the anxious, or backwards, like trying to get away, which is the avoidant. And then the disorganized is more likely to get frozen and kind of fall off to the side because they're frozen. So a secure person is more emotionally balanced because they know how to compensate. A few years ago, I had a car accident and I broke tip of the femur, hip socket, and tibia. So I was very broken. And as I was learning to sort of heal, and I was doing physical therapy, I learned that constantly my body's making small adjustments so I don't experience pain. Whenever I experience a little bit of pain here, a little bit of pain there, I make adjustments so I walk slightly differently, so my bones are not sort of rubbing against each other, so that everything is balanced. You probably noticed this. If your shoe is wrong or things like that, eventually you develop pain in your legs and it messes with your whole bone system. But the same is true for emotions. We learn to make small adjustments when we're secure. We learn to make these small adjustments that are a little request here and a little need for help there and a little support here and a little bid for attention there and a little act of love here. And these are all serving to keep the balance either for ourselves or for other people. We notice when things go slightly out of balance and we go, little nudge. And this is how we're able to walk. Walking is the act of being out of balance but not falling on our face. Same thing for running. And so to be naturally emotionally balanced is to have the kind of awareness that allows us to actually make these small adjustments. Also, being naturally emotionally resourced means that we have all of this energy to engage emotionally. And because we have it, when things get tough, we have a lot of bandwidth and we have a lot of energy. We have a lot of stamina to engage. But that takes practice. It's like lifting weights. But emotionally, if you have a lot of practice and you lifted a lot of weights, then chances are you're stronger. And if you're really strong, you also have better awareness around your energy, so you can tell when your energy level is going down. So that's being emotionally resourced and balanced.